Okay, so we are going over how to put your front and back cover in your InDesign magazine. You can do your cover in either Illustrator or Photoshop, depending on what you work better in. If you're working with a lot of photos, you should at least be doing that part in Photoshop and then putting it into InDesign, just because those are the programs you're supposed to use. You'll get better quality images from it. But anyway, I'm going to do mine in Illustrator first, and then I'll go back and do it in Photoshop at the end. We are going to go into Illustrator and make an 8.5 by 11, and make sure that everything you do for this project is in CMYK for print and 300 DPI or PPI so that it prints correctly. So that should be the same across any file that you put into this project. So I have my 8.5 by 11. I want to have two artboards for the front and back page, so I'm going to click my artboard tool and then hold options so that I can click and drag a copy. And just remember that this is your back cover and this is your front if you're looking at it the way that it will be printed. So make sure that you're not flipping the sides as you design. But I'm going to go, I got a picture of a frog. I'm just going to paste it across the whole thing. And then why don't we go ahead and flip this frog so that the front of it is on the front cover. After that, an easier way to work on this project is to view it in trim view. So if you go to view, trim view, it's going to cut off everything that's not going to actually print, and it makes it a lot easier so you're not spending time cropping things. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to do File, Save As, and then the important thing is to make sure that you're keeping it as a workable file. So if you're doing it in Illustrator, it should be a .ai, and if you're doing it in Photoshop, it should be a .psd. So I'm going to go ahead and just call it magazine covers. Doesn't matter what it's named so long as it is in the correct spot. And then I'm going to hit save. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of this just because I want to show you a different way to open it. So that's done. We will go back over to InDesign, and now we have to link that file into here so we can see it, right? So you're going to do I was not putting it in the frame. So it won't place things if you try to place them outside of the work zone. Okay, so I got that front page in there, the first page. I'm going to repeat the process at the bottom of my document for the back page. So I'm placing the same exact file in a different spot. But the problem is, it's just going to play that first cover. So how do we get the second one in there? So delete it, File, Place, and before you click anything else, you want to click Show Import Options. So it'll look a little bit different on the Mac. It'll be down here, but it's the same deal. Then we can hit Open, and we can select which page we want to paste in. So I only want 2 for the back. I'm going to hit OK, and now I have that back cover. So we'll go ahead and save this up. Now that we have those 2, we can go view them in our links, which should always be open, because if you notice, I took this template online just to record this. All of these question marks are because I don't have the photos that are used in the template. So when the person packaged it, they didn't include these photos, and then that means that I can't view them in actual high resolution or print them in high resolution. So that doesn't matter because I'm not using any of those, but you want to make sure this one that we're looking at stays linked. So I'm going to go to this link, and I'm going to right click and hit Edit With, and then I'm going to open it back up in Illustrator. And since it's an AI, it'll open right back up into an editable version, and you can start doing things to it. So you're designing your actual cover here, and then it's just already in InDesign waiting for you. So I'm just going to put a little headline title for my magazine. It's gorgeous. I'm leaving it like that. Okay, so if I save this and then I go back into InDesign, once it's all saved, something should show up here. And sometimes it will just automatically update it, like it did here. It never even showed up. Sometimes you'll get a little yellow warning sign that looks like this. And what that's saying is, hey, there's something wrong with this, hover over. Most of the time if you hover over it, it'll say that you just have to double click to update. These ones are missing. So if I double click it, it's going to send me to go try to find that file somewhere. I don't have those files, so I can't relink those. Once again, they don't matter for this. But that is how it works. So as long as these two are linked in here, anything that you do in that original file will transfer over on its own. If you lose where that file is located, you'll have to find it, put it back in a folder, and relink it. So that's why it's really important for you to back all this up in OneDrive, because if you end up designing your whole magazine and then losing all the files, you cannot print it, and I can't help you get them back. So I'm going to do this process again super quickly in Photoshop. If you're doing it in Illustrator and you feel like you understand what you're doing, there's not going to be anything else in this demo that you need. But let me go ahead and crash my laptop opening all these programs at the same time while recording. While that's loading up, we'll go find a new photo. I love these guys. They're microscopic water bears. Alright, Photoshop's open. So I'm going to go File, New, and you can even just click Print so it automatically sets it to what it's supposed to. It definitely should have set this to CMYK though. But 8.5 by 11, 300, CMYK, we're good to go. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the Artboard tool in here too, which is not as common, but it does exist. There it is. So normally I just get it as close as I can, and then I'll make sure up here that I'm setting it. And if you type different increments in there, it'll just automatically set it to what you're going for. So it'll set that to the pixels. But that looks good to me. I've got two next to each other, and then I'm going to get out of that tool so I stop editing them. So this time, only issue is Artboard 2 is the front cover, so we just have to remember replacing 2 first and then 1. But I'm going to go get my picture. So the only difference with Photoshop is that it does not let you transfer over 2 artboards as easily. So it's just a matter of pasting it on both of them and then lining them up and making sure they look the way you want them to. So I'm not going to spend too much time getting that correct. There's our cover. Sorry, I had to restart my video. So I'm going to go ahead and File, Save As, and we will go back to the same thing. And I'm going to name this one Magazine Covers and then just a P, so I remember it's a Photoshop one. So I'm going to save it, keep it as a PSD. And from there, we're just going to go back and repeat the same exact process. Sorry, I've recorded this demo a couple times and I made some duplicate files that keep tripping me up. So if you notice, the settings are a little bit different in here because it looks like it might let us place both at the same time, which really isn't going to be any different. So what that means is we're going to put this here and then we're just going to click it again and take that outside frame and just drag it. And then we do the same thing. So I'm doing File, Place, grabbing it. And then I'm going to do that back cover. And those should be pretty lined up. Okay, so let's test it out, make sure it works the way we want it to. So I'm going to go into here, and just one more time I'm going to close this just so we can remember how to open it from the document. I'm going to go in the window, I'm going to go into links, and then I'm going to go find that I linked and do right click, edit with, and head over to Photoshop. So it opened that document up, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do something quick on it. And I'm going to save it because we already saved it as where we want it linked. So if I save as, I'm going to create a new document, and then that's not going to be the same one that's already linked. So I have that there. When I go to InDesign, it should have already updated. So that is how to link both of them. You can also do this with your advertisement that you're making. So you can design your advertisement in Photoshop, place it in somewhere, and then just work on the advertisement as you go, but already have it where it needs to be.
you